Welcome to Crafted and Creative, a podcast meant to uplift and engage BIPOC creatives who are on their journey of making a social impact and creating a lasting legacy, as well as create community and a sense of guidance for those that are looking to do the same. Today's guest is Sadi Bimwala, a New York-raised multi-hyphenate artist. His other disciplines are rapping, directing, and writing. His off Broadway credits are Sentenced to Life Without Music, The Black That I Am, and After Othello. He's currently taking acting classes at the Juilliard Extension Program, and his mixtape, The Hood Savant, will be released later this fall. Thank you so much, Sadi, for joining me on my podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so to just jump right into it, how did you get started being an actor and a music artist?
So I started into acting. So my older sister had my niece taking ballet and tap and acting up the block from where we would live. And she would have me drop off the payments. And one day I dropped off a payment, and the founder of the space, Miss Lola Louise, she took a liking to me. And she invited me to join her acting group, the Conscious Ones Youth Acting Group. And from there, I was exposed to acting, ballet, tap, choral speaking, singing, anything you could name artistic, I was thrown into it. So yeah.
And so she just kind of took a liking to you, and you just kind of were you like resistant at first, or was it just because you had someone else that was in it that you kind of saw that you wanted to do it, or was it
So
like,
So I was always into acting, like always into the arts. With the music side of things, I was always into music. I would always write poetry. My creative writing teacher, ever since I was taught how to write poems, I always wrote poems. I would always write when I was in trouble, writing about how I
mm,
got in trouble in rhythmic form. My creative writing teacher used to have us perform in Lehman when we was middle schoolers. So like I was already in that lane. It was just I never took the full step over personally myself.
mm. And what were your biggest inspirations at that time? Was it like music that you would listen to that kind of also influenced you writing and creating?
So at the time, I was like writing. The thing that influenced me, I think, yeah, I was always watching music videos. Like that was my thing. I was watching documentaries at 11 years old, like music documentaries on artists, like document full blown when cable was still popular, channel 189, how it was 188 with MTV, the 189 was like the soulful type of channel, more
Hmm.
black.
Yeah.
You would have documentaries and I'd watch them like and just like learn about the history of music. So that's pretty much like one of the influences for me.
I know I grew up watching, was that BET Uncut or when they
Yeah,
had the, yeah.
watching beauty uncut.
Or wait, what's the one where they, I don't know, late at night. BET
Nah, yeah, you said the right one. That's what I'm saying. Oh, you watching beauty uncut. Okay.
back in the day. Listen,
Oh man.
wait till everybody go to sleep.
Yeah,
Because they
nah,
would show
same.
some
That's
stuff on
everybody had
that.
the same childhood. I did the same thing.
They would show some stuff on BET Uncut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how has your background influenced your artistry? You're a New York raised artist. Was it also just like the rhythm of the city that influenced you becoming a rapper as well?
Yeah, so my background, I'm Congolese, first generation Congolese American. My parents are from the Congo, and my background has a huge impact because my father was into music, from what I hear from other family members, and that also like we'd have like Papa Wemba, he's a famous Congolese singer known in the Congo. He would be chilling in my living room back in the 90s when I was a baby. Like there's pictures of me and him and like he's a big artist back in the Congo. So music was always surrounded in my family. One of my aunts had an album. Yeah, so music is just in my blood, literally.
It's just in your blood. That's so cool though. So having that background, is it the sounds as well? Do you feel like you play around with a lot of
Oh yeah.
Afrobeat sound? That's also really growing here in America in the States. as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely play with a lot of Afrobeat songs. I got a few Afrobeat songs tucked in the way. I'm just planning how I'm gonna execute them. I'm gonna have to take that trip to Africa and plan out those video shoots and everything just to
Mm.
make it give it the right aesthetic and everything.
Do you get to go home? Or do you get to go visit where your family's from?
It's been a minute since I've been back home. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've just been on New York grind, survival mode, but I'm going back next year. Already planned out my flight and everything. Looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely a journey of growth and development, you know.
Mm. Now, you say you have music was big in your family. You started this program when you were younger. Did you know that you wanted it to be a career? You said you
So
used it as an outlet, but did you know,
uh,
like, I want this to be?
So I didn't know if I wanted it to be a career, to be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know. So the thing was like, my sister knew I was into the arts, but also I was a young black kid. At that time in New York it was very dangerous. So I was a young black kid doing things I wasn't supposed to do. And so, my sister put me in the arts because she knew I was interested, and it was a great way to keep me out of trouble from what I was doing when I was younger. And the thing that made me basically fully commit to being an actor was basically a situation where I was staying at a friend's crib, and I was supposed to come outside with him to chill in the corner and everything, like we normally do, because it's our neighborhood. I decided I didn't want to because I was tired from rehearsals. My mentor would have us work. And long story short, he got shot at. And he literally, the bullet missed him by like this much because one of our friends grabbed him out the way. And, I looked at it as a situation that made me like relook at how I was moving back then. So, yeah.
Mm, wow. I mean, did one or the other come first? Did acting and or music come first for you, or was all of this kind of happening at the same time?
Acting, music popped up a little bit more, but I didn't know where to record music. Like I would go to open mics, I would sing like a melody or something. And you ever had like one of those light bulb moments where you're doing something, you're like, oh, this is it for me. I was singing a melody to something, and literally the crowd I was singing it for, they sang it right back to me. And I was just one of those huge light bulb moments for me. But at the time, I didn't know. How to like find an engineer and anything. So, I went to, I was focused on acting. And during my time in school, I did a show. One of my friends introduced me to his cousin who does engineering. And that's when I started going to the studio and like really recording songs and everything.
Mm. Uh,
Yeah.
Did you feel like was your family supportive of you going in this direction? I know you said your sister was, but was there any initial pushback on going into the arts?
So in terms of family structure, like when I was with my sister, she adopted me. So like yeah, so I'm a foster, I could say foster-ish kid. I lost my mom when I was young. And my
Mm,
father wasn't really in my life, so she was really primary caregiver when I was 14. So but
okay.
yeah, so she pretty much supported it. In African households,
Mm,
they don't really support the arts. If it's not tangible, if you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, it's not really much of a support. So until they see you actually do it, and you're like, oh wow, okay, you know,
mm.
so yeah,
But sister was right there supporting you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's beautiful. I feel like that's so important as artists to have that support, you know.
yeah,
It's
yeah, for
a
sure.
difficult thing to navigate. Now, with you being both an actor and a writer, are there skills? Oh, well, actor, writer, and music artist, do you feel like you've learned skills that have lent to the other profession in terms of like even the way that you rhyme, your musical timing, your vocal control?
Yeah, yeah. For sure, because with rapping, I like rapping and acting, for instance. When I'm in the booth and I'm rapping certain things, I have to say it with a level of conviction so that when you hear it, you believe what I'm saying. Same thing with acting, with lines. Again, with lines, I have to make sure I'm saying everything for me to be believable in this moment with this character. So the parallels are very similar. Like you could hear a rapper and you could tell they're new based on how they sound like they're reading something off a piece of paper
Mm,
versus like really like saying these things with conviction and really taking you there. So that's basically the parallels. Writing the same thing too. Um, writing has um, writing has improved. I learned a new exercise where I would write something out, and if I wasn't too sure on the dialogue, I have some actor friends read it out loud, and then afterwards I would have them basically improv the words in their own words, and just to get it more free range, have it more natural speaking.
Mm,
Yeah, so it really does help it really does help. Each one really does help the other
help the
balance.
other. Mm. Have you ever felt like you've had to juggle two different identities as being an actor and writer versus being a musical artist? Like, do you feel, people always make fun of Drake because he always has these different vibes depending on his album. It's like, okay, now he's Caribbean, now he's giving us, New Orleans, South. Do you feel like you've had to put on those hats, or could Sadi just show up like, this is who I am? I don't have to have a different identity to be in my art form.
You know what's funny? Yes, I kind of agree with that. I'm trying to have the blend of it, and I feel like the mixtape, The Hood Savant, is the blend of it. That's why I titled it that, because I feel like, just being like actor, you know how it is in certain acting spaces. It's very bourgeoisie, very, very like, oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, I studied there. Oh, you studied there. Yeah, it's very that. And then on the side of things, I rap. So I could be on the block for a long time with a bunch of dudes who most people be afraid of. I'm shooting a music video, and like I could do either or. I could go to the Met Opera and see the opera dressed up in a suit. I could chill on the corner of the block with like 10 dudes, shooting a vid or rolling dice. So it's like it's that nice parallel where I know how to maneuver. So I kind of look at it like that.
Mm, mm. Yeah, each one serves its purpose, right? Being able to have different taste in things that can influence your artwork. So you are a live performer, being an actor and being a rapper. Do you feel like there's one that you prefer the other when you're performing live? Do you prefer having the thrill of an audience from your musical performances or the thrill of a theater performance, or is it both? Do you feel like you prefer both?
I can't pick one over the other.
And it's the same
It's
feeling, right?
honestly still the same. It's still the same feeling. It's still the same feeling. Like I remember the last show I did. I made it was a song I made a play on to Akon's Locked Up instead of Locked Up. I'm effed up, and I was just talking about like ganja, right? And basically the whole room started rolling up and smoking.
Oop.
Well, yeah, whole room, and it was not a smoke. It was not a smoke venue, like a smoke friendly venue.
Oh, they was ready.
They was ready, and I like kind of brought it out of them, and it made you realize like how like being an MC, you're really a master of ceremony
Mm,
because depending on the audience you have, the music you're presenting does create a certain energy in the space. So it was definitely something like, and I learned I learned from experience. I'm like, oh wow, it's crazy,
yeah.
you know.
It's like
So
you're
yeah,
summoning. There's a magic that happens when
yeah.
you're performing live. And I just went to go see The Brother Size with Andre Holland, and
Mhm.
just the magic. I was telling someone like there is a ceremony taking place when someone is
Mhm.
performing live, and we're all in on this ritual.
Yes.
Um, but how does that compare to doing film? You've done some film work. How does that compare to the delayed response of being in a film or making an album where you're sitting in a studio for weeks, months on a time and trying to perfect it versus that instant feedback? How does that compare as an artist for you?
For me, there's definitely comparisons like music videos and like doing films. There's huge comparisons. Like I know how to communicate to videographers based on my experiences with film. Like I'll be ask them, oh, what type of camera you using? Do you know how to color grade? Knowing how to spot good quality in both avenues and stuff. Um, being aware of audio and stuff. Film acting, I definitely want to get more into film and television acting.
Mhm.
I see you doing your big one. I gotta get like you.
Thank you.
Uh,
But you've done some short films that's still like you're in front of the camera. Do you feel like you're still getting that same high when you're in front of the camera or when you have to wait for an audience response is there. I know for me personally, I get kind of not nervous, but like there is kind of a certain anxiety when I'm like, oh, this project has to come out and I don't know what my performance was versus when I come off a stage. I have instant feedback. I can tell if someone liked it or didn't
Oh
like
yeah,
it. I get
yeah.
that
I know,
instant
I know what
reaction.
you mean. Because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I forgot who said. I think it was Denzel who said it. Film and television. That's the editor's medium. It's not really the actor's medium because in stage you get that feedback immediately, but in film and television you gotta wait till post. Everything edits. What you did in filming may not pop up in the final cut version of things. So so it really is a delayed, you don't really know until you get to the premiere basically and you see everybody's reaction to certain things. So yeah, I'll always be a theater buff. Like theater live performance will always be like here over film and film and television just because of just the immediate interaction. But
Hmm.
also with film and television, I also like to write, like to bring things to life, and I want to definitely open up a lane for people of color, BIPOC, and other lanes like fantasy. I want to see more of us in fantasy,
Hmm.
sci-fi stuff, So I'm writing stuff based on that too. So.
You could do so much in film and TV, like you can literally recreate those worlds. So versus theater, you do have to work within the even though they are getting more technical with some of this theater stuff. There's a Stranger Things musical or a Broadway show now, and I think they have like a bunch of effects and like really pushing the boundaries of what you can do on stage. But
Harry Potter, boom, the effects on Harry Potter, like.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
when I saw it for the first time, and you're a Harry Potter buff, right? I think you are.
Hmm.
When did the mentors come up? When they come down, I did not expect that. Oh my God, I was ready. I was about to pee.
It's so scary. It's so
And there are
scary.
real people in those things. That's the crazy part.
Crazy thing. I'm like, I've never been terrified watching a Broadway show until those Dementors flew out the sky.
Yeah.
Now what about both of your form or all of your art forms? Do you want people to take away from your art when someone sees Sadi Bimwala as a rap artist, as an actor? What do you want people to walk away from seeing it?
From seeing it, I just want people to walk away with the feeling that they can't be boxed in. Because one thing I love about rapping is that I have freedom. I can't really be boxed in. I present what I present. Whoever takes a liking to it. Acting, to a certain degree, you're boxed in. With acting, unless you're creating your own stuff. So with that, but they both give me that space to, be able to jump back and forth. And sometimes when I'm on one, like let's say I'm focusing on rapping, something from the acting side will call me over because they see me over here still working, on certain stuff and vice versa too. So,
Mm,
so yeah, yeah. So I just want people to take in the fact that, your talent is limitless if you choose to explore other things.
I love that. Now, how do you approach these different art forms? How do you find the freedom in it for yourself? Like when you get a script, what's the first thing that you do versus when you have a song idea?
So, it's funny. I love that you asked that question.
Okay, okay.
So different. Like my acting side is so disciplined and so meticulous, while my rapping side is the opposite. I'm talking we got a bottle, we got some roll up, we got vibes, play some music. Well, my acting side, I'm making sure I got my cord to do my
Your lip
tongue
trills.
lip drills, all of that. I'm making sure I got my journal. I'm transcribing my lines. I'm making sure I got my backstory. I'm making sure I'm answering questions that the script don't answer for me, so I don't have to ask the director. I'm doing like it's more meticulous on the actor side, more meticulous and professional, while on the rapper side is very carefree, rolling up. Let's play a beat. I'm not feeling that beat. I'm not feeling that beat. I'm beyond not sober. listen to music, in the studio, And the funny thing is, a little bit of the acting side kind of trickles in the rapping side because I do my tongue twisters before I enter into the booth, so I sound clear as possible on the audio. So some of it does trickle over. When it comes to both, I like to meditate in my warm-ups, just to like clear my mind and any like nerves or anything, so it doesn't like hold me up. And in the studio, time is money, literally. So hour session. So yeah, so
So you got
they
to make the
kind of
most.
do, yeah. So they do kind of like really do counterbalance, but they're very opposites. They're opposites of the coin, but they do intermingle from time to time.
Okay. That's so interesting that, I mean, because obviously I'm assuming you're going into acting completely sober versus
Of course, yeah, yeah. I am completely sober.
on stage, like, wait a minute, I
That's why I
saw
said.
Sadi's
That's why I
album a
said
little bit.
professional. That's why I said my acting side is extremely professional.
Extremely different
My
versus
rapper side,
music. Okay.
music side is very carefree. It's a party on the music side.
Okay. Okay. I've seen that. And I can understand why, you're using yourself as a vessel and I guess, having a good time,
Yeah.
letting the lyrics come to you. Oh.
That's how they normally does. It's really that's how it normally does. It's,
Mm.
it's very weird.
Are you free flowing a lot of the time or are you like, oh, I got this dope idea for this lyric that I'm about to write down and then, you know, put it all together.
It's funny. I am very much a writer. Like I do not. The most I will ever freestyle that comes to me is like hooks. Like hooks, I'll come up with hooks like this back to back. So that's why like one of the things is songwriting. Like I'll be open to songwriting for other people because of the way how hooks come to me like this,
Hmm.
based on like the music and everything. So yeah, so I'm very like structured. I really don't like to freestyle at all.
No.
Nah, yeah. So most people don't know. It's like, all right, when it comes to rappers, you got two categories of rappers. Well, you got three categories. You got the ones who can freestyle like all day, but they can't write.
Mm.
They can't sit down and write a lick or nothing. So they can't even write hooks. They just can rap. That's it. Then you got the ones who write, but they can't freestyle. Then you got the ones who are, in the industry now. They have the image, but they don't have the talent. But if you write something for them, they could jump on that what you wrote and capture the essence of what you wrote, basically. A lot of industry rappers, as you can see, have that ability.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
have they don't write their own thing. Like Doja Cat, for instance, I'll give you an example. She's super talented. I wouldn't say a super fan, but she's very super talented. She wrote off for her latest project, she wrote everything. No co-writers, no nothing. She's the first female rapper to do that in a long
Mm.
time.
Wow. She is
Like,
talented. She
yeah,
is
she's
talented.
talented. So yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's that's the basically the categories that most people don't.
Okay. Okay. Now to transition back over to your acting side.
Mhm.
You're currently enrolled in the Juilliard Extension program. How's
Yes.
that going?
That is going great. I finished my first semester, study senior study. It's definitely a great program for people who want like supplementary classes without the full course schedule
Hmm.
load, so that they have room to do other things. I remember when I was doing senior study, I had like got this off Broadway gig, and I was able to do it, take a moment from class to do it and everything, and it was just understandable. So it was really definitely dope. It was definitely a dope experience just being in there. We got to see an off-Broadway show as a trip. Got to meet the writer and everything. It's you feel the richness stepping into that space.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, what initially drew you to the program? What was it that you were looking for as an actor coming into that space?
Yeah, so I was auditioning for Yale. I was auditioning for Yale, the MFA program, and I the first time around I didn't get in. So my one of my friends who was in Yale, he mentioned the acting coach that he had, Brian, and Brian basically would send me emails about certain stuff because Brian is a teacher too. And one of them was the Juilliard Extension program. So I did further research on it, and here we are today. I'm a Juilliard
Juilliard, you're a Juilliard
Yeah,
kid now. I love it.
I'm not kidding now.
So what like methods and tools have you taken from Juilliard in your time at William Esper Studios that you use in your work currently?
So, with the scene study class that I had, I got to dig in deeper with certain things like common shared experiences with my characters, how me and my character are the same, how we're different, and focusing on the similarities. Um, Also focusing on the differences between the two characters. And also with Meisner, learning Meisner at William Esper, I got to read between the lines. Like, well, that's one thing Meisner teaches you is how to read between the lines. You know how, like, some people can say something with a certain tone and you don't
Hmm.
realize it.
Mm,
Meisner will help you catch that immediately.
mm,
Like, immediately catch that because you're doing repetition so much that you're like, oh my God, when it's over and then somebody said, I like your shirt. Why you said that like that?
hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're able to learn how to do that and implement it into your acting. So yeah.
I actually have not really done so much Meisner.
Yeah.
I've done it in some of my acting classes, but I don't think it's been a core focus. And I
Mhm.
was just talking to somebody the other day about how good Meisner is,
Yeah.
good for reading between the lines. I mean, so much of acting, especially film and TV acting, is not necessarily what's said, but what's not said.
That's said exactly what's not said. Like that's why cameramen kind of zoom in on the facial expressions or that goodbye. That goodbye. What was that goodbye said like that? Look at her eyes. Just certain things just to capture the
Hmm.
undertones of the dialogue. Yeah.
Now we're flipping it back to the music.
Mhm.
What was your inspiration behind the Hood Savant? You brought it up earlier, saying that you have these different dualities, but talk us through the process of creating it. Yeah, what what does it give for the Hood Savant?
The Hood Savant it gives half rapper, half R&B. That's what it gives. So like I have half of it strictly for the most part rapping, and then the other half R&B, melodic, lover boy vibes. So yeah, the Hood Savant is just basically the duality of a person, hence the title, the Hood Savant. And it plays on the whole savant musical thing. Savant, I came up with that idea because I went to like a holistic expo a couple years ago, and the holistic expo is where you learn about alternative medicine and spirituality. And at the expo, there was this lady who would take pictures of you, and she would take picture of your aura,
Mm,
and she'll tell you how many angels you have protecting you, and like also certain things. I remember I was walking past this lady because I was gonna see this kung fu master that could bend a fork with his. It was something crazy he could bend a fork with.
oh,
I just wanted to see it.
uh-huh.
So as I'm walking past the lady, the older lady stopped me. And she is like, "You have the spirit of Sasquatch with you." I'm like, "The what?" I watch a lot of horror movies. It's an old white lady telling me I got the spirit of something with me. So I was scared for a brief moment. So she's like, "No, you have the spirit of Sasquatch." It's Louis Armstrong with his nickname for music. And she was just breaking it down to me, and I was just like understanding. I'm like explaining so much because of me and my relationship to music.
Hmm.
So she was asking me, has it been easy for you to do certain things musically? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you played an instrument? Yeah, I'm getting into guitar soon. And she was like, oh, okay, you're a natural savant. And that's basically how the savant part came to it. So I just wanted to add a little spin to it.
I love that. Love that. I mean, do you prefer just working on one thing at a time? Do you prefer just focusing on your music, or do you prefer when you have a project, but you're also auditioning or in a show?
I've had both happen at the same time in the intermingling, which is great. And all that, sometimes it's great to have separate and sometimes it's great to have it all together for budgeted purposes. Budgeting purposes is definitely great. I remember I was doing the show, The Black That I Am, and I had a mic performance and I dropped the mic performance while in between performing for this show. My social media is going crazy that entire week. So it definitely is a good balance and stuff like that. The people who are following me from the show were watching, seeing me perform in another medium. So it kind
Mhm.
of like helped too. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So looking ahead, what's a dream project that would allow you to perfectly merge your skills as a performer and a lyricist?
What's a dream
Dream
project?
project. You're an actor, you're a writer. I don't know. Do you want to, do your own step up, your own, trying to think what's another musical, your own musical film or
Uh,
whatever project.
so my dream project, I would have to say I don't have specific dream project, but I do have somebody. If I were to link with them and work with them, it's through the roof. I'll say 50 Cent. I'll say 50 Cent. Or I would say like my dream project, I want to bring back the whole artist having their own TV show.
Mm,
They don't do that anymore. You don't really have that anymore. Where like you'll be introduced to artists and they have like multiple like platforms for you to really see. Like Brandy, for instance. She's the perfect example. She had Moesha, and then you knew about her as Brandy the singer.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I that would be a dream setup for me, something like similarly between those lines.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. I mean, I'm thinking about LL Cool J, all in the house.
In the house, Will Smith, Fresh
Yeah.
Prince.
Right, right. They
Um,
really don't do that anymore. I mean, there's not really a lot of artists that's acting now. I feel like that was such a big wave in the early 2000s that I'm trying to think who transitioned into acting now.
like I mean, don't get me wrong, you do have some rappers transitioning into acting,
I
but
guess Method Man.
Method Man, yes, Method Man, you do he's a perfect example, but it's not the same as like the labels will really push for that. Nowadays they're pushing for numbers. They're not really pushing for there's no artist development.
Right. Right.
So there's not like they're not really putting in time to really develop something that's long lasting.
I was talking about this in an earlier meeting, how social media and AI and technology is affecting all industries across the board. Do you feel that way about music? You have so many artists that blow up from TikTok. Look at what's happening to Ice Spice.
I
Everybody's like, "Oh, she she was so big," and
I
now
got a
it's
funny
like,
story to share. I got a funny story to share. So
mhm,
with social media, first I'm gonna say this. With social media, I feel like this is a great time to be a performer and a bad time to be a performer. Two reasons why I say that. For one, as in terms of being an actor, this is a great time to be a performer because you have more eyes to look at you. But if you're not capitalizing on that and finding your own niche to where it doesn't feel like work for you, you will come up against somebody who has captured that. And let's say they'll go for somebody with larger numbers of a following, they may overlook you because of that. And I've read that's happened before with certain actors who've come up against people who have like large followings, they tend to lose out, you
mhm,
know. So, and I feel like actors really need to get on that jump, that social media wave, because I feel like we have something that the actors previously before us didn't have access to. They really had to do these audition rooms. There's no real space for them to really create their own thing, do
mhm.
their own podcast platforms. Now it's like you really have to take things into your own hands.
And
And
it's,
this,
they had to mail in DVDs.
that mail, that mail, like, sometimes I gotta YouTube how to mail sometimes. I'm like, how mail? I'm so used to emailing most of
Right.
the time. Boom, send, headshot, boom, boom, boom.
You
Now
got
I
it.
got now I gotta know that exact address, like to make sure this goes to who it needs to go to.
Know what the format of trying to send a. I'm like, listen.
Make sure the stamp is like really properly placed on the envelope.
Right, right.
So yeah, so it's it's a great time and a bad time to be a performer if you're not really taking the initiative, which
Hmm.
you are for. But yeah, so in terms of rapping, it's actually great. You can build a big fan base, but rapping is all about marketing, being smart about how to market. Having like a machine behind you really helps in terms of marketing because
Hmm.
it puts you out there. And if you really make dope stuff, people who see other people liking your stuff will jump on to want to see it. That's just human nature. It's just a thing. Like, look at Ice Spice. You mentioned her. She's a perfect example. Other people were bigging her up, which made other people started to tune in more on her. Like I'll give you an example of the story I was about to tell you. Now I remember. I almost forgot. So it was during the pandemic, right? And people were not working at the time. Unemployment was booming. I had gotten my unemployment, boom, booming. Hit up a friend of mine, Ghost. He pulled up, and then one of his friend Curtis came, right? And I come in the car, was hanging out with them for a while. Curtis makes music. Curtis sees me and Curtis, all three of us went to the same high school. Curtis is like, yo, you make music, right? We should get in the studio together and make some music. I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Now, usually when somebody invites you to do something, you expect them to initiate it. So I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever, cool. So anyway, I finished hanging out with them and I'm leave. Curtis drops a song,
Mm.
right? A few months ago, a few months later, that song blows up. A few months more later, he's at the BET Awards. He's nominated for a Grammy with Chris Brown. He's at Chris Brown's crib. Chris Brown got a Lamborghini that's just there for decoration. He's me and Busta Rhymes, 5 Year Foreign, like all these people and stuff like that. Yeah, his song went viral. Yeah, Chris Brown on the remix with Popcorn. Yeah, so yeah, literally, yeah.
You just never know.
You just never know. You just never know. And that was a very eye-opening experience to me. Very humbling and very annoying at the same time too. I'm like, the one time I don't follow through on something. Don't
You
me.
like, dang it. It's crazy when you see people that started with you, kind of blow up. It's like on one end, you're like, wow, this is amazing. God is in the neighborhood. The other part of you, you're like, oh man, but dang, what's going on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But learning how it was the marketing that helped jumped it off. For instance, like usually with rappers, we try to pay for marketing. Like let's say if influencer, they'll charge like hey, $50 and I'll leave it up there in the story for 5 hours or the whole day.
Hmm.
Basically what he did with his song, he knew TikTokers with large followings and they kept playing the song on TikTok over and over and over and over and over until it catch on.
Wow.
And I knew
Wow.
another rapper who had the same situation that happened to her. But with her, she had a song called Black Kylie.
Hmm.
That's who responded to the song on her Instagram and reposted it. Kylie Jenner.
Wow.
Kylie Jenner got like 500 million followers on IG. The girl I knew
Crazy.
went from 1K followers to 32K followers like this because of Kylie reposting the song, like playing the song in the story.
You just never know who's listening, who's watching. I guess moral of the story, we just have to keep going, putting your art
Keep
out
going,
there.
literally keep
You,
going, make sure the marketing right, and
yeah,
it's
use social media. You have
you
resources.
have resources. Like I said, it's the best time, being a performer that other people didn't have back then. I couldn't even imagine being an actor back then.
Hmm.
You know,
Now, what does developing the narrative mean to you right now at this stage of your career?
developing in that.
Yeah,
I was,
like developing yourself as an artist, developing yourself. I mean, we're always trying to brand ourselves, market ourselves, figure out what we want to offer to people, what we want people to take away from our art, what fills us up,
okay,
all those
okay.
things.
The narrative, I would say, just rags the riches story. That's only the best way I can say. That's the narrative, literally. Rags to riches. The roads that grew from concrete. That's really the narrative that I want to paint for myself. The image that I want to paint. My mentor, she used to have a saying called, um, "Many are called, few are chosen." And
Hmm.
she used to always say it whenever I was like chilling or like, in between rehearsals and like let's say I learned the routine, I'll stop and just chill. Like I don't have nothing to sing, like I don't have lines to, work on in that piece, that same piece. And she would say, many are called, few are chosen. I used to hate it because it made me feel lazy. So I got up and started working. And like, at the time when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate it. Then I started going to other schools and I started seeing how other students will work and
Hmm.
how I see how their work would pay off for them versus the students who had the talent but didn't work. And
Mm.
like just seeing that parallel, I started seeing, oh, many are called, few are chosen.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, listen, that's a quote that'll make you get up. Like, I want to be
Yeah, yeah,
chosen.
yeah, yeah. It made me get up every single time.
Now, what are some words of encouragement for someone embarking on the same path as you?
Words of encouragement, I would say, don't look at each project as that project that's gonna set it off. Don't look at it. Just continue the momentum. Um, budget well between the two. Very well between the two, and just enjoy the process, man. Enjoy the process because I realize once it gets to a certain level of gratitude and fame and all that stuff, the love will probably not be the same no more because you have so many eyes on you, whether they're
Mm,
good eyes and bad eyes. And you will find yourself missing the old days where you're just doing this for fun. Like, now it's like it's still gonna be fun most likely and on a bigger scale, but you have a lot more criticism and like just, people like to build like some people like to build people, but most people like to tear people down more than build them. So you're gonna be a lot more accessible to that experience when you hit a higher platform of success, from what I see.
mm. Whew. Listen, and that's why I'm just trying to take my time. And that's why I'm so grateful that you decided to come on my podcast because it's all about community, enjoying it. And like you said, just knowing that not every project is going to be the one or make you a millionaire, that it's about why you do it, why you love it, you know? So I love
Yeah.
this community. We're here. We're here. Okay. Now, what's next for you?
Next for me, I have a film screening I'm planning November 1st for a short film I wrote and directed. Definitely gonna send you an invite. Hopefully you come. November 1st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then after that, my mixtape, hopefully dropping that. Black Friday is the goal to drop it. I feel like that's a perfect day to really drop it, Black Friday.
And this
Then
is the Hood Savant.
yeah, the Hood Savant dropping it. Yeah, Black Friday is the goal. Dropping a single out of it called Follow Me. That, dropping two singles, Follow Me and Cancel. Those are the two singles that I'm hoping to drop off the project. And then after that, just pretty much just business, handling my business.
I know that's right. And where can people find you?
You can find me on IG, my IG, Bad Boy Heavy. Facebook, you'll find me my Facebook name, Sadi, Sadi Bimwala, Bimwala. You could find me on either or platforms, and then my music, Shinobu Sadi. You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, all the platforms. Shinobu, SINOBU SADI. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me again. This has been great. And thank you all so much for listening and watching. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, everywhere where you get your podcasts. And I will see you all in the next episode of the Crafted and Creative Podcast.